given that like this war is, I guess, ostensibly being fought, we're told over and over again, to defeat Hamas and to release and to free the hostages. Derek, like how now 4 months into this war, like how does this incident and what we're talking about here, how does this put the lie to like what is the actual military goal in Gaza? Because if it's about freeing the hostages, the only hostages that they've come into contact with are the ones they've shot.
Yeah, I mean, they've killed, I think, more hostages than they've freed through military action. The only time that any significant number of hostages were freed was during the ceasefire in November. And I know there's negotiations going on about potentially a new ceasefire, but the idea that Netanyahu keeps pushing that it's only through military action that we can recover. I mean, it's obviously false. You're killing them, and you're also continuing to deprive Gaza of things like food that, hey, the hostages need too. And not that I'm saying that they're necessarily going to get their fair share of any food that comes in, but the humanitarian situation also makes it harder to envision rescuing these people alive. What they're doing now, I mean, again, as I said earlier, to blowing up these buildings and just openly admitting that, like, hey, we're doing this because of something that's in the post-war planning, in the post-war design of what Gaza is going to look like, assuming that there's any Gaza left, which is the creation of this security barrier some distance in from the fence. Is, yeah, I mean, it speaks to just a level, I think, of cynicism, because they're talking to the Biden administration. They're trying to assure the Biden administration that, hey, we're on board with this. We want to post-war. I mean, they're arguing about whether the Palestinian Authority can come in and control it. But they're trying to assure that they're not going to do ethnic cleansing. They're not going to cut the territory's actual physical space down. But they're doing these things that are obviously geared toward cleansing at least part of the Gaza Strip and taking at least some portion of its territory, if not the entirety. I mean, I think still, if you polled Israeli leadership, the ideal solution would be, which they were pushing a few weeks ago, the quote unquote voluntary relocation of that population to other parts of the world, and just taking the entire area and either leaving it desolate as a message, or you turn it into luxury condos or something.
Along those lines, Derek and Felix, I'm wondering if you've noticed a similar rhetorical tact, a sort of shift that I've noticed over the last month or couple of weeks or so. Whereas, like back in 2023, a billion years ago, any criticism of the war was couched in terms that, like, this is about releasing the hostages. We need to free the hostages. Like, the hostages come first. But I think, like, everybody knows that, like, that is not the goal of this war. That they have they have, like, if they free a hostage, like, that's incidental. But, like, I've noticed that, like, when you bring up, like, for instance, the British TV network ITV just captured on the not Al Jazeera, but the British news network captured a man waving a white flag being shot by an Israeli sniper, like, on camera.
As he moved forwards towards the combat zone, he noticed this group of men doing their utmost to appear non-threatening, trying to proceed with care. They wanted to reach two other family members and get them out of harm's way. The interview complete, our cameraman walked away. And then this happened. The interviewee had been shot and fatally wounded.
And when you bring up examples like that, I think, like, a lot of the, at least in the replies, as you see on social media, the tact has changed from just saying, sounds like Hamas should release the hostages. Just saying, oh, you want this to stop? Hamas should release the hostages. But that's just conceding the fact that, like, they're still holding the hostages because the only ones that have been freed are the ones they've voluntarily given up during negotiation. And it's also like, Hamas should free the hostages. Wasn't that the Israeli military's whole fucking goal in this? They haven't freed anyone. They've only killed tens of thousands of people.
Well, that's the thing. It concedes at best, like, the best interpretation, the best case interpretation of that is that you're conceding that the Israeli military is killing thousands upon thousands of people to punish Hamas for taking these hostages, which, again, I mean, I don't want to harp on quaint notions like international law, but you're not allowed to do that. That's not legal. That's not something that is permitted under the rules of what the Biden administration keeps calling the rules-based order. You're just not supposed to do that. It's collective punishment. And yeah, it's this, if this is the defense, if this is the best defense that you can mount or justification for what's going on, even that doesn't clear the bar to making it right.